So I was explaining, let me start again. I said that we're looking at data science with Python. Basically, we need to look at the applications, which are the steps. You need to import Pandas as PD and import NumPy as NP, and then import Matplotlib dot pyplot as PLT. So these are the basic libraries that you need for manipulations of your data, doing the pre-processing and the cleaning. And then this will help you to go and play around with the data. I have not looked at all the way we should have done the pre-processing because of the limited time, but I gave you the work. I will also later look at what you have done. Now, once we load the data set from this directory where I've uploaded the BSE dataset. I've also put it in the chat for you. You can put it and then run it locally on your machine. Then it will display, I wanted it to display the first 5 rows, which is the column header and then at least the first 5 records. Now, when I looked at the records clearly, please be very attentive. And when I look at the records clearly, I was able to see that in the living allowance. Okay, someone is asking whether I could resend a data set. For those who have just joined, I have not seen the data set. Okay. Okay, I've shared the data set again. Now, what you can realize here is that after loading it, which I know all of you were able to do it the other time, okay? But we started getting issues. Okay, not from there. When you look at this data set that I've just sent you, we need to do what we call data cleaning, pre-processing. But when you look at this data set, for you to get to know, to understand your data set, you need first to look at if there are null values. Because if you check for null values, you can clearly tell that your data is having, actually there are 4. Please, can you take note of them? The 4 key things that you look at. Let me just write it for you here. You also write it somewhere. Number one is empty cells. Number 2 is wrong format. Number 3 is wrong data. Then number 4 is duplicates. Now I'm going to explain to you all these 4 important sections that we need to look at when in regards to our data quality. If you're going to analyze any data as a good data scientist, first of all, do you know the consequences of having duplicate values? It will give you inaccurate reporting. If we have like 2 or 3 students, like let's say we have Elisa, and the name is repeated. Actually, we have Nancha and Nancha. If you have the same people having the same name, it has a lot to speak about our data integrity. So you need to know how to deal with the duplicates. And then wrong format. I want to tell you that when you try to get the median for let's say filling age. No, this is not age. Actually, this was, I think this was living allowance with median of living allowance. Now, this is where you need to understand how does one load the data set if it's not necessarily stored in the same folder that they are working in. Why would you want to put the data set in a folder which is not? You could see how I've loaded mine. You need to point to that directory where the data set is. If it is in another subfolder, you can do like this. That is David Hope. But also, why would you want to put a data set in another directory so that you start getting challenges? Especially, there are three ways you can get the data set using a URL link. You can create the directory. So for if it is not in the same folder, please just copy it from that directory. It should work out for you. And take note that for Linux, you use a /. For Windows, you use a /. You will try to do that. I think I've answered that question for you. Now, the next thing is the wrong format. Now, when it comes to the wrong format of the data, now we're going to experience some bit of challenges here. When I loaded this data, I noticed that the living allowance, there is none. That means it's an empty cell, not a number. So none is not a number. And now, since it's not a number and it's an empty cell, now when I try to now sum all the null values, I realize that when I look at this data, number of siblings seems to be okay, name is okay, gender is okay, age is okay, but living allowance, we have about 7. So we have null numbers. That means either they are empty cells, okay, or the wrong format. So when I checked, I realized that actually there were empty cells in the data set I have just sent you. Now, what do I do with with empty cells? There were no duplicates in the first place. You could also check if there are duplicates. Is that okay? We could also create and check if there are what? If there are duplicates. But I didn't see any duplicate value there. But if there are duplicates, you could also try to delete, okay? You could try to drop the duplicates. Now, for me, when I checked, we could also try to do that checking together one more time. But first of all, I realized that this is checking and I realized there are empty cells. And I will show you how I dealt with empty cells. Now, let's try to deal with duplicates. So I can also try to, let me hash this, check for duplicates. So I can go ahead and say print, then I run that cell. Now you see 0. 0 means I do not have duplicates. Then another thing you could do, you could check for you could check for empty cells. You could check for empty cells. Let's see. Check for empty cell. So you check for empty cells using the is null. Okay, right now the empty cells are 0 because the data which I'm running, I'd already worked on. But let's see. Okay, we could rerun this again. We can load this again so that you be sure that we have the empty cells. There are no duplicate, is 0. Now you can see here. You can see that the empty cells here we have living allowance. Okay? The living allowance is basically where we have empty cells, even when you double check in that data. Then another thing that you can also check in your data set, which I'm going to give it to you as your assignment to share your screen if you're ready. You can check for wrong format. So that is easier. Now you can see in the number of siblings, we have integer. Name, we have object. Gender, object. Age, integer. Okay? So the data type is object. And of course, this has some bit of consequences, especially when you're running your analysis. Then the last one, you can check for wrong data. So I've given you a simple demonstration. Check for wrong format, check for wrong data. Especially you can use print unique method to check for wrong data. Print dot the data type, check for wrong format. You could see the formats which are there. If you needed and exactly we have a wrong format in the living allowance. We're having it as an object, which treats it as a string. And yet, when we are calculating mean, it will tell us that it will try to complain because of the what? The quotes, the comma, which is there. Now, before I worked on this other line of code, because I told you everyone should go and try this work. When I tried it, I tried to, especially for missing value, if they are missing empty cells. Now, as a good statistician, if you're going to use, if you're going to drop, there's another way you could do. You could deal with empty cells, you drop it. But I wouldn't advise a data scientist to drop empty cells. Dropping empty cells means you are deleting the rows. Do you agree with me? Hello?
Yes.
Do you agree with me when you drop the rows, you reduce on the number of the what? Of the records. way is to treat it using the mean, media, and mode. So for my case, when I look at the living allowance, I wanted to get the average. First, what I did was to remove the comma, which is in the missing, which is in the living allowance column, and then they change that type of data, which was in the wrong format, so that that data can be a float. Now, if it is a float, you could put it a float or integer, that's okay. Me, I decided to put it as a float. Then I was able now to get the median and then use the in place method to add in the median in the empty cells. That's what, and then when I displayed, you can see the first row, Gertrude, is now having 200,000. When we ran the first data, Gertrude did not have because I was trying to get so that it could give me at least a better impression of my analysis. Okay, so once I was able to do that, now I know that all the cells are having, I checked again, by the way. After cleaning, I checked again to see if there's still missing value or empty in the empty cells. Missing values are basically empty cells. And this time around, when I ran my script, I was not able to see anything like a missing value. Now, before you go to the next step in your exploratory data analysis, make sure you have done pre-processing, which is cleaning the data set. How about rows which were explicitly filled as none? Now you need to drop them. You need to actually to use the method I've used. You need to find a way of making that none, remove the none, make it as empty cells, and then go ahead and then try to get the mode, median, or average. Have you understood me to this point of data pre-processing? And there are only 4: empty cells, which is null, wrong format, data type, wrong data, and then duplicates. Are you all, even the final data set that I'm going to give you, especially for the final project, take note that when it comes to pre-processing, my focus is going to be mainly whether you have worked on the empty cells, whether you work on the wrong format, whether you've done that pre-processing before going to the exploratory data analysis. Because the problem which I normally have is that when I'm training you, I want you to learn how to analyze data. I do not concentrate on giving you remember how we collected the data. The good thing, we are working with the data that we collected from class, from this lecture, from this online class. And you saw how the first day working with the data was very difficult. We had to first say, guys, let us first drop and we go and work on the data. And I had to go and look at the data critically and analyze it so that it is easier for you to also follow alongside with me. So one of the hardest things as a data scientist is to do pre-processing. Once you're done with pre-processing, you're good to go. I'm going to give you another assignment. When you're done with my assignment, which I sent on your email, I'm going to give you another assignment that contains empty cells, wrong format, wrong data, duplicates. And I want you to complain to me that pre-processing was very difficult, master. Pre-processing, I got a lot of challenge. I did this. This is what I've done. It's now I filled in this. I checked, I cleaned, I dropped. I've not done any dropping yet, but you could use what? The drop method to remove or drop some of those values. So do we have questions up to this point? Now, what I need you to do is ask me question up to where we are before we go to exploratory data analysis. And also I'm requesting, if there is anyone who was able to do this work over the weekend and even on Monday, because all along I've been trying to fix my computer. This is not how I like my interface to be. So if you don't have an assignment, please drop for me your email. Okay, make sure you register. Can I share with you the registration link for today in the attendance? I'm going to capture today's data. I've already started sending you emails. I've been a little bit busy. Most of you don't know how I really, really get so busy. Because imagine, okay, everyone should register. Imagine I wanted to work on this website, which I have completed. I wanted maybe one person from that group to work on this project website. But somehow, somewhere, I decided to go by a single page. I can drop for you the chat, and then you can give me your comments. There are other pages which are not done. If you now feel like you are a very good developer, I can ask you to also, I give you the source code, then you work on just some pages so that you can also put it on your CV that you work, reco.org, you also collaborated or worked on it. You drop me an email, I give you a page to work on. You don't work on the entire thing. You work on a page, the CSS are there. I'll give you a link to the source code. You clone it, work on it. When I look at your design is nice, I upload your page and then I link it. As simple as that. But this is the entire project. And this is where I'm hoping to get, I'm going to be a billionaire from, because there's no one doing this kind of research in Uganda. People here want easy stuff. Me, I want to go dirty. If you want to go dirty, work with me in the farm. It's going to be interesting. And yesterday I had an opportunity to I interacted with some guys who can make a house in 2 days. They just get for you a house, you go and buy a house which is already made, and you can carry that house and take it to any place you want. So I was very happy with their work. So I want to go there and summarize the deal and see how I can pay that 20 million and take that one house in the farm. Because if you're going to be, you need to be at the farm, because agriculture is not that. But anyway, it's urban farming and it's going to be vertical farming. So you're going to be planting uh, using shelves. You don't go to the actual digging, you just put it in the containers. But you will like it and you will eat healthy organic food. And that's my focus. Eat well, live longer, like the Chinese and the Japanese. So members, you will drop for me that one in the chat. Any question to that point on the exploratory data analysis? Yes, just like I said, I wanted to work with a hub with Derek. I've just put a hub with Derek's name there. But if he doesn't scale up, I'll replace him. Because where I've reached, I take no chances. If he scale up and is interested, yeah, well and good. You will start making your money. I'm sorry, this time I'm not too kind to people when it comes to work. Because I realize that people oversleep, me, I don't sleep. And that pains me a lot. How can I sleep only once over the weekend and people are sleeping throughout? Okay. Okay, so I've tried to put sample of the logos you guys put, but yeah, but these are the two guys we're working with. I'm working with the Climate Smart Agri-Food System and a SOM. Yeah. So you give me your comments about the website. You will check it. It's a single page website. I don't want to design things with very many pages. No, 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 no. I am personally, that's too much work, putting a lot of information together. Now, but we can have some pages that can link there. Okay, those one will send me an email. Those who want to collaborate and complete other pages. Any question to this point? I'm sure a SOM should also be coming up. I'm not sure whether a SOM is done. I tasked Bruno to complete it. Just double check. Sorry. Okay, nothing yet. Fingers crossed. Let me hope he's working on it. Okay. So, any question to this point, please? Let me
Yeah, I
not
have a
distract
question.
you. Please ask your question.
Um,
And I want you
how
to share your screen later.
how
Yes,
how
go ahead.
how can we deal with outliers? For example, in a column, you have a value that is very big, far away from what we expect, and doesn't match with others.
Wow. Now, the issues of outliers in dataset is quite a common talk to all the data scientists. But I just want to understand one thing, is that whenever you are dealing with outliers, you need to understand first the statistical methods that are there. Okay? Because these are basically, when you look at outliers, it's just data points that are actually they're far from the points on your data. But you ask for how to deal with it. First of all, removing outliers, you can remove outliers, exclude outliers from your data set. That gives you those measurement errors or anomalies in the data set. And that's a very good question I have with, because most of the challenges is that it gives you an impression uh, that your data is performing well, yet it does not. We are going to look at that, especially in machine learning. But you need also to transform your data. Okay? Transforming your data, you need to look at the columns, and then you also need how to bind your data. You need to see how you can convert some of them from the numerical data into categorical data. You see, when you look at the data set I've given you, it's about profession. I actually tried implementing converting a numerical data, which were in integers, especially on the number, no, on have girlfriend. That is a numerical data. And I wanted to have it in terms of categorical data so that I can get the kind of profession with the people who have girlfriend or boyfriend. Yeah, but my data was not performing, was not giving me the actual, uh, it, 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 it had a lot of outliers I could not deal with within a short time. But when you convert the data into categorical, it will help reduce the impact of outliers. And that is what we call binding data. Then probably you might also need to think about, how do I replace outliers with values that are more representative? Like, let's say the median. You could also deal with it in terms of mean, median, or even have a custom values. Let's look at the column for living allowance. Now, when you look at Grace, no, Nakasuja, Gertrude did not have any value, right? When we calculated the mean, it gave us an impression that probably she could spend about 200,000. And yet some people are putting 25,000. And that has a very big consequences. But anyway, with mean, it reduces on the outliers. Now look at someone spending 1 million as a living allowance. Don't you have problems with such kids at campus? They tend to have better life. Eh? And yet for you, what you need is everyone to look in a normal way. I don't know how you people dress. Some people dress like politicians in suits, ties. Those are what we call outliers. You're bringing unhealthy competition, even for ladies. What will I wear when I'm going to campus? Please put on the t-shirt and go. Have you seen all tech guys how they're trying to tech CEOs, how they want to make their staff to be comfortable by dressing simple? Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, uh, except maybe Bill Gates or the likes, but they use Steve Jobs, uh, Tim Cook, all those guys like putting on t-shirts. Sundi Pichai, the CEO of Google, all those guys actually, they like dressing simply. As long as the shirt is clean. Now that's how you deal with outliers. But now we have problem students who come, even not that. Look at what happened in Elite High School. Someone going for a prom in a helicopter. That's a big outlier. You create unhealthy competition. You understand now outliers very well. So I've made it, try to explain it using so many other concepts outside. But one, you need to know how to exclude outliers from your data set because they're the main thing that will cause anomalies in your data. I'll try to show you. You need to transform your data. And then transforming your data, basically, you need to look at the columns, those particular columns that have out anomalies. You need to try to convert the numerical data into the categorical data. And then you also need to focus so much on how you could deal with maybe mean, media, or custom values, especially deal with outliers. Students who have a lot of money, that's why government also has problems. There's a guy who actually was caught with money, over 1 billion in his house, in cash, the MP Mawanda of Igara West. Those are people bringing problems in our economy. Eh? You go to buy a shop, that person, you need to sell him one small piece of shop at 100 million, maybe, so that you can remove all those kind of money. That's why there's also what we call income inequality. You tax the rich more so that you try to balance. Have I explained you very well? I've tried to use technical words, life experience words to help you understand. Have I explained you very well, Ahabwe? And any
Yeah,
other
yes,
person,
sir.
maybe you could understand how do you deal with outliers? But that's the best option. So for now, I want to go back to your work. I have given you a data set and I've moved mine up to data cleaning. Can you share your screen so that I see before we go to the pre-processing? I've stopped sharing. I've given you an opportunity to share your screen so that I can look at if you guys are following, that should be okay. About t-shirt, the lecturer is talking directly to me as if, yeah, that's the reality. You need to be simple. Me, I don't, that's why life, I don't need to tell you a lot, but me, there are certain things I don't like. That's why I don't attend these things like parties, events, wedding. Okay, please share your screen. Share your screen. I see what you've done. And please get to know that I'm now back. That one day, it really pains me because I never wanted to miss any of my periods on the timetable so that you can cover more. Because when you finish next week, we are now going to start on web development using Django and Flask. But it's you also to tell me whether I'm moving fast or I'm moving slowly, whether you're understanding or you're not understanding. At the end of it all, you will decide whether you'll do a machine learning project, you will do a data science, or a web development project. Please share your screen. I've taken time without knowing the people who I'm teaching. I might force you one of these days to turn on your camera, especially when we're about to finish. I need to know the people because when I come physically and I've given you the project and you're working on the project, I need to know this one attends. I now see the names are familiar. Please share your screen. Hey, what were you doing? Guys, you're quiet. Are you working or I don't understand. Why are you quiet? Class rep. Hello. Please share your screen so that I see what you're doing. These people are really. Hello? Guys, you have all refused. You have decided to keep quiet, eh? Okay. Oma Victoria, thank you.
Morning, sir.
Yes, good morning.
It is Victoire. My
Victoire,
name is Victoire.
you need to
Yes,
keep telling me your name so that I can learn out. And you are from French. You speak French, right?
yes.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Je m'appelle Geoffrey et toi?
Moi, je m'appelle Njekornom Victoire.
Let's not confuse them.
All right. So I've not done much. I checked for null
Okay.
values, and then I also filled the null values from allowance, living allowance. So what I did was I used the median.
Okay.
But you can also use mean or mode. But what I use is the median.
That's fine.
Yeah, but I want to ask some questions about when to use mode, mean, or median to fill those null values.
Now you asked a good question. What do you know about mode?
Okay, the mode, I think it is
Don't think, just say it the way you know it.
actually I don't really know it.
Oh, is there anyone who knows about mode? Please tell us. Unmute and tell us, and we understand.
Most in the data in the column.
Hello, what is mode? You've forgotten mathematics, eh?
Okay, for mode, the mode is the most frequent value, the value that appears the most in the columns.
Exactly. So when you're dealing with outliers and you're trying to transform your data, one of the things that you look at in the columns, if you look at the patterns very well and you realize that most people, like there's that part where they give allowance of 200, 200, 200.
Yes.
Okay, to everyone, eh? Then you
Mm.
find some people they have columns and they did not put the allowance. So you just assume, you make an assumption that all these people were getting what? an allowance of what? 200, 200. Then you use the number which, the number which occurred most or appeared most is what we call the mode. It's what you use and put there. So that is when you use the mode. Then you said, what is mean? Now I'm going to ask the students. Students, what do you know about mean? We have Takia, we have Stacy, we have Jean, we have Aaron. Aaron, you're quiet. We have Asimwe. We have Ceciline. We have Serenjoji. Assumptions can result into outliers. No, Serenjoji. So mean, very good. People are putting correct answer in the chat. Mean is the average. Then what is median? You might be using it when you don't know.
Median, I think it is the middle value.
The middle value, the middle figure.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you look at if you look at the range, and the range is not too far, like the problem with living allowance, if you are to use the average, you're likely not going to get because when you to use the average, in fact, actually mean would even be better. Instead of using the, okay, you first change that method of median to mean, and then run that cell, and we see what kind of figure it will be displayed under Gertrude.
Still 200.
Still 200.
Let me clear the output and then I'll run again. Yeah, 200.
200. You use mod and we see.
Yeah, 200.
I'm not understanding. Anyway.
Yes. Let me maybe restart the kernel again.
I thought it only changes for the empty cells.
Exactly. And we're trying to look at how many empty cells were there.
Empty cells, I think it's only the
There were 7.
Seven,
There were
yes.
7. But the first one, which was easier for me to see, is for Gertrude.
Now it's saying 0 because I already filled them.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
So you need to understand it when to use, but in most cases, assumptions, the way Serenjoji is saying, that can result into outliers. That's very true. But if you go for a workshop and everyone is getting an allowance of 100,000, and there are some people who have not put the value like they have put there, if you're trying to get the exact amount of money which is spent, you're going to go into an outlier. So it's better you use mod and you say most people who attended the workshop, this is the amount of money we gave out. Because you cannot come and we gave you 100 million, then you come and report that you gave out only 90. That's when you use the mod. Have you understood?
Yes.
Because you're speaking as a data scientist, people should believe you. We gave you 100 million, and then you are seeing clearly that Gertrude did not put the column for maybe allowance. Now, if you don't put, the money is going to be less, and you are going to get queries. People are going to ask you. Remember, these are statisticians, people who have done statistics. They'll ask you, so what happened to the other money? Did you eat the money? So as a data scientist, that's when you use the mod. You see what was? So that at least you reduce those queries. Thank you. Any other person before we proceed faster? Any other person? We go to the next part. Let's go to the next part. For you, and you know me, at the end of the day, I want you to commit this source code to the GitHub. Yeah, I'm different. And I'm going to give you marks based on that. So it's better you do it. I've been checking some of your work. Let me not scare you. Okay. Now, once are you able to see my screen? Now, once you're done with what we call data preprocessing, and the data preprocessing, you now know it. Wrong format, wrong data, duplicates, empty cells. Now, once you are sure that your data is okay, you run and you see you have 0, then you can now start exploratory data analysis. Now, I did not do a lot of exploratory analysis here because I was running into some errors. When I want to think how I should implement something, I go into an error. But don't worry, we will have better data to work with. So first, with exploratory data analysis, EDA, you look at the statistic. First, you can do the printdef describe to get the mean, standard deviation, and then the maximum values for all the columns. Then once you're able to see, once you know the mean, you're able to see the standard deviation, you're able to know the counts. Counts basically tell you how many records are there, okay? It basically gives you how many records are there. There are 36 records in that data set. Now, when you try to look at the distribution of girlfriend and boyfriend count, okay? The people who don't have girlfriend, according to that print df have girlfriend in that column, you're trying to count. Now, I can tell you that the people who don't have girlfriend, okay, are 24. The people who have girlfriends are only 12. Am I lying? You can go and count it manually in your data. But for me, when I look at the count, that's what I was able to get. But remember, you can also count on the people who eat meals. Okay? Who eat 3 meals. Can we try that? Let's go to that column. Then, can call it distribution of daily meals. So now the distribution of daily meals, yes. So when I run this, now it tells me the people who eat 2 meals are 16. The people who eat 3 meals are 15. The people who eat 1 meal are 5. Then let me go ahead and look at another thing. Number of siblings. So I think this was where I was trying to. Okay. So this error can be fixed by number underscore siblings. Because that's what the error is saying. Error number of siblings. Okay. So the people who have 4 siblings are 8, 1 is 5, 2, and in that way. That's what we call the exploratory data analysis. You're trying to explore the data. You're trying to understand the data much better. Are we together? Then let's also try to look at this profession. Now, this is where I was getting errors. I think that's when no, I can't get errors. I don't know, but let me just double check distribution. Oh. I hope that's the correct way I put it. Okay, perfect. So the people who are the data scientists are 19, the machine learning are 7, the data analysts are only 7. And when you add up that, it gives you a total of 16. So when you do this exploratory data analysis, you try to understand what is exactly in that column. Then male and female, you can also look at that, because I really didn't check that part. So the males are 24, the females are 12. So our data is telling us that in that class, there are more males than female, and you can agree with the exploratory data analysis. Have you understood exploratory data analysis? Hello? Hello, class. Have you understood exploratory data analysis?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, I hope you're also doing it on your end there. Now, let's go to the other part, which will actually come to almost the last part of this. Then I'll give you another data set and we'll start working on it. And that data set is going to be about what? About machine learning. Okay. Now, when it comes to data visualization, in most cases, visualization helps us to gain insights from the data, understand the data in a graphical way. You can call it graphs, but as you advance with your data science, you can now call it what? Visualization. So to do visualization, you need to import 2 libraries. There's what they call Seaborn. You need to import Seaborn as Seaborn. You need to import Matplotlib as PLT. And then you need to also to plot a graph of boyfriend by gender, age distribution. So if you want to plot a bar graph, you just call it bar graph. The method is bar graph. Then you pass in. What you pass in is that what you want on your x-axis, gender, y-axis, boyfriend. Then you're loading it from the data set. Then you can PLT title, you will give you the title of the graph. Right? And then plot show, it will show the graph. So this is what it will display. If you want to do histogram, it's the histogram. Okay? True. And then if you want to do age distribution, it will be age distribution. Okay? Now, I'm going to give you an assignment. For age distribution, let me look at the data. Okay. For age distribution, use pie chart. For age distribution, use pie chart. Then you share with me your screen. Yeah. For age distribution, use, and this one you can copy, you can click on it, you can save it an image, and you're good. And I think one of the most things that I'll start trusting a lot is, okay, that's for my own consumption. It's not necessary for you. Okay, are we all there? So if you've understood data visualization, you share with me. There are several kind of graphs that can be drawn. We're going to do heat map. Don't worry about it. And we are going now to do module, machine learning, TensorFlow, train the module in our next bit of it. I never wanted to give you a data set. There are some data sets on this website. I think there's what they call open data set. There's the rainfall data set. You can click and download them. I'm going to try to make sure that this website is usable for you, especially for getting open data sets. My intention is to give you the data set. No. These data sets are not the final one. The final ones are coming. You can play around with these ones. There are some two data sets, rainfall data set and then soil moisture. The plant health and temperature, I'm still working on it. I haven't yet started. I'm waiting. Once they put for me my research grant for buying IoT equipment, then I will start collecting the temperature and humidity data. There's a lady who told me she works at a weather station. I don't know if I can get some data set from her. What's her name? Is it Gertrude? There's a specialist in weather forecasting in our class here. What's her name, madam? You see, when you are valuable, people want to share themselves with you. Who is that lady who spoke very well and never sent me a small text? And even the guy of the traffic jam, I told him to do some write-up and send it to me. Me, I love reading.
Yes, I'm the one, but I sent you an email.
When? With that information?
Yes, on that real day.
That real day. What is your name?
The same name, Nakasuja Gertrude.
Gertrude. Let me check. Which email did you use? My Outlook or?
Yes, I used the Outlook email.
I've been having trouble with Outlook, but I don't see this. It's recorded. I'll cut it off. Don't want you to see how I look for money. Okay. I'll check it. Thank you for being a good citizen. I like people with value. What do you bring to the table? Those are the people I like. Not parasite extracting money. Those ones, I hate them. Please, can you share your screen? You could. How about the other gentleman for the traffic who said that you can have 100 phones and what? I wanted to verify your facts. If you have 100 phones and each phone costs, it's practically possible, but there's something I want to experiment. Because there are some guys who are doing some IoT in smart cities. They're trying to improve the traffic jam and road accident in Kampala. So I could try to read and share that knowledge with them. These days I spend time looking for knowledge. Okay, please also send me that document. But thank you, Gertrude. I will read it. I haven't been I have very many emails. Like I have a meeting tomorrow with the EU, so it's about the Namibia thing. So And I'm now in the inbox of the project emails, but I'll read. Okay, please share your screen, Gertrude.
But sir, you didn't tell me to send you a document. You told
told you
me
to
that
send
I should write to you a message such that you send me the information you want to know and I give you the feedback about it.
No, I said try to give me the information of what you are speaking about the prediction. You said you need to predict after 5 minutes. What? Those are
I
the
have
things.
it, or I'm using it already, but I don't have any document.
No, you could type what you know. The thing what I need is you don't need to have any document. You need to type for me what you know. Then I verify facts. I do fact checking. So what you have done, I'll try to do some bit of research around it and see whether what you are speaking is true. I will quote you, don't worry. I'll say
I'll
that
do that.
Gertrude, as a scholar, I will not steal your information. I'll quote you. And if you also got the information from somewhere, you need to tell me so that we also have that integrity of in academics they call it
Sir, I
copying.
didn't copy that information from anywhere. I'm a weather forecaster and a qualified one. So whatever I'm speaking, I speak it out of experience.
I'll quote you. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. All I'm fearing is plagiarism. Calling somebody's work that is your own. No. Me, I will just say contribution from you. I'll do the facts checking. And if I verify your facts, yeah, I would say Jeff and Gertrude et al. You know that we did something. And people start quoting us. Please share your screen. I know when I go into KBs like this, you relax. No. Share your screen. Hey, guys, are you working or what? I thought when I'm presenting, you're also working. I need to see data visualization of a pie chart for age distribution. I also need to see some bit of graphs. I also want to see that code where you are able to do the exploratory data analysis. That's all I need. Why do you make my life very difficult? Takia. Edwin. Edwin used to speak very well when we are still learning foundations of Python, but now they are quiet. Yes, Eferata. You need to convince me. Let's listen to her.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I'm still working on my code, but I have only visualized the number of siblings on a pie chart.
Perfect. Thank you. That's a great one. And you didn't tell us how you were able to do it so that other people can learn from you. That's the reason why we share your screen.
I can
Tell
explain
people,
to them.
what you did. Yeah, tell people what you did.
So here, this line of code is counting to print the number of siblings. Then this plot is what used to plot the graphs and whatnot, which I have imported here. Then this is here on title. You declare the title for your pie chart. Then if you want to customize the size of your pie chart, you can use this line of code. You can put in any value. So that one is for the size. Then this this line here is what makes sure that it plots the charts as a circle, as this pie chart you're seeing. I think that's it.
You also tell them about the method. Sure. What it does.
This show method, I think it's what's responsible for showing the pie chart.
You want to prove it that it's the one that is used for display. So it's in the second one, the pie. So when you comment that off, the graph doesn't show.
So you see it doesn't show the pie chart.
Yeah, so it's used for showing. Thank you. You can uncomment it and okay, let's have another person. Let's have another person. Please, are you registering? Please register because I'm going to get the latest emails. I saw some people's emails were bouncing. They were bouncing because they didn't type their emails very well. Hello. Okay. Okay. So this is what I wanted to share with. Oh, there's someone sharing a screen. Perfect. It would be nice if we could listen to your voice as you explain. Any other person? A call. A call where? Which district are you from? Hello.
I had not yet unmuted myself.
Okay.
Yeah. So so this is my pie chart for the age distribution. This one we know as usual we have to do what? To read the CSV and we import pandas and Matplotlib for drawing. So this is the age for age count. Then this one we are defining the size of the pie chart. And we have given our pie chart the title. The reason why we are using equal because this is a circle. And then the ratio draws the what? The pie chart.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So thank you those ones who are able to share their screen and present. Now I want to focus basically on the next assignment that contains some bit of okay. The problem, I don't have Excel installed on my computer. First, all of you first try to get to that website and go to the open data set. Try to get the data set about the rainfall season. And try to display it so that we look at the kind of the data that is there. And please don't forget to subscribe to that YouTube channel because I'm going to start uploading your class materials. I've been a little bit occupied, but I know by this weekend I would have enough time to upload all the recordings and share with those ones who have missed. Also subscribe there. I'm going to put all your recordings there. Okay, is there anyone who has downloaded the files from that website, from the open data set? I just want to have a look at the rainfall data. And then I tell you what to do. Uh-huh. This is Ronald sharing the screen. Okay. Okay. Oh, I'll try to give you the when you look at the column headers are coded, right? Hello? The column headers are coded, and they're coded, it means you don't know what is in that column. Okay, at least for the column header A01, what is that data all about? At least there you should pass it.
That is a year.
The year in which the rainfall was recorded, right?
Yes.
So I'm sorry that that's why I asked Gertrude. I hope with her help, I would be able to, I don't know, but the problem they have not put for me, man. I would spend time and go to that weather station and try to get a data set of at least 2024. Not, we may not get 2024, 2023. If I get 2021, 2022, 2023, we could make sense about what is taking place on our climate change. Now let's look at column C, A03. First scroll down. Scroll down. Oh, it's still having some data, right? Okay. I'm trying to look for a data set. I want to see if I can get it very fast. Let me first look for that data set faster. I'm going to share with you a data set. Just a second. I'm trying to look for some. Okay, I've dropped a data set in the chat. First look at that data set, the one in the chat. I've dropped one in the chat. Please, let's look at that one. You could stop sharing and first share the one I've put in the chat.
Isn't it the one I'm sharing currently? The one on the screen?
No, not sure. Is it the one? No, the one in the WhatsApp group. No, in the Zoom chat. Please, team, stop sharing your screen. I want to see the one in the chat. Is it the one?
No, it is not.
So why are you sharing your screen? Okay. Yeah, this is the one I want. Look at that. Efrata was sharing. Oh, Victor is sharing the same. No, Victor, let Efrata share. This does not give me a better way out to look at it. Okay, so we have NPK, temperature, humidity, label. Scroll down, scroll up to down. How many records are there? Okay, what's the last record? It's over 2000, right? 2201. Okay. For now, just ignore the what? Ignore the rainfall data set. Scroll up, let me look at its heading. Okay, now, thank you. Now, with the knowledge I've given you, okay? With the knowledge I've given you, can you load the data set? Get the required library, load the data set. After loading the data set, do what they call data pre-processing and share with us what you have. Please do it faster and share your screen. Do it faster and share your screen. Hello? You working? Are you working? Okay, one person can, if you're a Linux user and if you're a Linux user and you have okay, let me go ahead and try to do it for you. I'm going to open a new file. Okay, I don't even need to open a new file. I just need to open a new cell here and then upload. And then upload the data set that I'm working on. So we have a data set. Crop analysis. We are going to do some bit of predictions. Crop analysis and prediction. So let's start with my first common methods that I used to here. We are going to import copy cell and paste. Then I'm going to run. Then I'm going to go up again and copy. I don't want to be rewriting this simple lines of code. Copy cell and paste. But this time around, I'm changing the data set to be what? To be crop. Reload. Perfect. Then I need to go and I've done the spec. Now I'm going to go to data cleaning and pre-processing. Copy cell. Okay. So you would agree with me that after reading the data set, I honestly don't see anything that involves pre-processing, right? So what did I say about the next step is to look at the describe yeah, we can now start the exploratory. So we can now start you can now start doing the exploratory data analysis. So we are able to look at the mean, the median, the media. Okay. Now let's go to now. There's something I want to show you a bit. You can you can check for null stroke missing values using heat map. So how do you do that? You can just say import Seaborn as Seaborn. Okay. This thing tried to, as if it has understood what I want to do. Okay. Okay, this is one way of checking for missing value. Okay. And I like the fact. So you just do import Seaborn, then you define is null, the Y stick label, false, the CBAR, then, or there's another way. This was just by automated text that has come. So you can check, way or way to method 2. Oh, you can also check for duplicates. There are no duplicates. That one I think we checked. I think I'm even wasting time here. What I wanted us to do is to do the Seaborn. I wanted to have that that heat map in this way. Seaborn heat map. I'm just going to modify. Let me just press tab 9. I'm going to modify what I don't want. Okay. I'm just going to use color warm. Call warm. Then is now. Hopefully I will have something different. Okay. I'm just going to get rid of this code up to here. Then I'll do a plot dot show. Okay. Put what I want. Oh, it's called PLT show. Okay, perfect. That's what I wanted. This one was from tab 9. For me, I wanted something like this. Can use my method too to get for you the heat map. Are we together up to that point? Hello? Are you following me? Please let me know if you're following me, because I want to go to the next part in our exploratory data analysis. I want us to have a closer look at the distribution of temperature and pH. Hello, are you following me?
Yes.
Spelling is wrong.
Okay, now I'm going to go one more step. Make sure you just read the comments. The comments tells you what I'm doing. I want to look at distribution of temperature and pH. So, okay, you see, tab 9 has mastered. So it's showing me the distribution of temperature and pH. I don't want to use this method. Let me use my own method. Always use method 2. I'm just trying to see what tab 9 can give me. Then I just want also to write it myself. Sorry. Write the code myself. You know, when you write the code yourself, you get what you want. Are you trying to tell me that let's see if it has understood what I wanted to write. This thing is super crazy. It got it this time. Wow. Okay. Can you also give me for pH? Soil for distribution. Okay, I can now maybe add a little thing. Is that maybe I can add the color to be let me try pink. Okay, well, wanted to have a different color. Okay, we have pink. We can also put color here. If you want to use color, you can put color, then equals to, and put okay. Super, super nice. So when you look at this kind of distribution, by the way, I'm personally happy with what I'm seeing here, is that the distributions are very good here. So I can look at the distribution of temperature. The counts goes up to around 200, but doesn't reach 250. What is this type of distribution? Is it abnormal or a normal distribution? A normal distribution. Is it skewing to the right or to the left, or it's in the what type of normal? What type of distribution is this one? I'm talking to all mathematicians. Hello.
Is a normal distribution.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to hear that. So you could look at the distribution is normal. This is how you can try to explore your data. Now, let also try to verify if our data set is kind of balanced. Since it's a normal distribution, we expect our predictions to be kind of accurate, right? Let us also check and see. Let's check if the data set is balanced or not. We could use SNS. I want first to see what this one has generated. Then okay. It actually shows that our data set is balanced. But I'm going to try to change something a little bit here. Is that I'm going to put the Y to be the label, so that at least we can read the names. Okay. Let's try to reload it. So have you seen how I tried to change it instead of it going to the X, because we could not read this type of values, I decided to change it to be I changed the Y to be on the Y axis, the Y to be a label, the label to go to the Y, and then the counts to go down, so that we can see. So this is perfectly a normal distribution. We could maybe try to beautify it. We could try to beautify it and say, let's have the palette. Palette to be okay. You could have something like this. Or if you don't want, whatever you choose, that should be able to work for you. So it is very important to visualize it diagonally so that you can be able to read the labels. So I'm going to try to label a few things in our data here that we don't know. We don't know what K is, we don't know what N is. So I'm going to try to say N is the nitrogen. K is potassium. So P is the phosphorus. This is the phosphorus. Okay. So what we have done, basically, I don't know if we could try to look at maybe we could try to look at the concentration of I don't know, maybe phosphorus. We can try to look at the concentration of phosphorus level, and then we do the pre-processing. Maybe only that. I don't need to have so many bit of, especially when you're just beginning to learn. Not good to look at so many things. Okay. Let's look at the phosphorus level. So we can look at the phosphorus level using the Seaborn dot. This time we need a box plot. Box plot. You remember what I said about when it looks nice when you plot like this, but what is the problem? The problem is that you cannot read the labels. So you just have to forcefully allow the label to take the the y-axis. Oh, we could not have two y's, so we can put y and then this one goes to x. Visualization shouldn't be difficult. Okay. Yeah, that is how they do it. I think this is better, right? Hello. This is better because at
Excuse me,
least you
sir.
could read the levels. Yes.
Just an inquiry about the data where we're equating it to DF. Now, since
Why
we are
we're doing
looking
what?
for pH, can't we index the data in the code, that's second line, where we are referring to data as DF? Now, since we are interested in pH, can't we index that data to be DF into brackets, then we index pH?
Okay. The thing is, between data and DF, what do you understand about the two?
With data,
Uh,
with data,
just explain DF. DF is what?
so DF is the data that we read. So meaning DF is inclusive of all the columns from the data we are having.
Now,
But
then
now
how about data? Data is the new one we have
that,
defined. We have defined a
yeah,
new data which takes in the DF.
okay.
Alternatively, I know what you're saying. We could modify. Let's modify this to what you mean. We could basically do so this was taking the entire what? Then we only look at what? Phosphorus, right? Uh, no, let's leave it like, because we would have actually looked at the only columns for, we could look at only specific column. Okay, let's maybe look at specific column on what? On rainfall. You could also, but let me not do a mix-up thing here. No. Let this be this. Okay.
Okay.
I can copy this code and then I modify it so that we can try to look at only another column specifically. So this time round, instead of looking at the entire data frame, you could only maybe look at that specific column. Let's look at maybe this time the column for rainfall. So what we could do, we could use a square bracket. And then in the square bracket, we could be interested in still the data frame, but of which column? Of a rainfall, like that. Now, when I load this, box plot. So we need to look at not the pH this time in our label. This is just labeling. X is going to be P. It's going to be the data frame. What's the error? Name of the index. Okay. Now we take Okay. Let's try to modify this and see if we can get something better out of it. Shift to a scale of maybe 1 to 150 and see if this good, and then we could close. Yeah, could close this. Yeah. This text out. Okay. So what we're trying to look at here now, we are only looking at when you look at this data set, we are only looking at the humidity that is less than 100, maybe less than 65, but almost the same with the phosphorus level of approximately 14 to 25, so that we can look at the required crop that could be grown based on the amount of the rain expected within the few weeks. So you could grow rice. So you basically here your target is what can you grow with the amount of rainfall that you expected maybe in the next few weeks, based on the phosphorus level. I'm now going to start maybe explaining that if you guys are able to look at the exploratory data analysis of that. Yeah, but here is our main focus. We are focusing on looking at when humidity is less than 65, almost at the same phosphorus level, like maybe between 14 to 15. What is required? What is the required crop that could be grown, based on the amount of expected rainfall over the next few weeks? So you could see the crops that can be grown are papaya, which is coconut, jute, coffee, and rice. That's what can be grown. And of course, we haven't even done anything like with the data pre-processing so much. But let me first do one more thing, which we have done. Let's just try to get a correlation between the futures. And once we can have the correlation, then we can now go and build our module on. So let's basically have a correlation. Let's create. Let's have a visualization correlation. And what is correlation, by the way?
It's a relationship between columns.
Okay, let's look at the relationship between columns. So you could do that by saying you just use a method for correlation. So when you do that, hit the problem. I'm using tab 9, and tab 9 is kind of trying to suggest for me the code that does the correlation. So when you do hit plot show, say it could not convert strings to float. It's the straight put X here that can do. Oh, we're having some bit of problems because of No. It the problem is just here. Okay. Okay, let's start from here. Let's improve this code by first create a C for correlation, then do a data frame, and then do label as type, category. Okay. We now need to just try to manipulate this source code a bit. Then my target, I'll explain the code to you. Target as dictionary card. Target to be a dish. Please avoid using this tab9 thing. If you don't understand what you're writing, you might just accept anything, and then it keeps throwing you errors like the way it's doing to me, and you get confused. You don't understand your code. Try to write a code that you really know, and you can explain it. So now my y can be equal and equal. X can be equal to avoid this automated code. They are very dangerous. They can change your entire dropping anything. Not dropping anything. All I need is yeah. Then now I can try to do my correlation. Okay, so what I've basically done here is I wanted to create a correlation basing on the columns. So here what I did, I decided to create there's another variable that takes in my data frame and the type to be what? The category. Now, then I was looking at the targets to be dictionary that emulates, which is a method that we take in my the categories. Then my data frame will look at the target, which will take in the categories of the codes. And here I define my data frame on the y-axis to be my target. And then on the x-axis, I was only interested in of course the titles, which is basically I pass in so that it can take in the column headings. So I was able now to create a visualization of the columns heat map basing the correlation. I created the correlation basing on the columns, the two columns, so that I can visually look at I can look at the relationship between the two columns. Yeah. So basically that's what I did. And I was able to come up with this correlation heat map, which I believe you can do it. So please, what you do once you're done up to this level, you have your code like this up to this level, and you've done all the things. Okay. I was explaining. You just need to save this source code. The problem is make a copy to the GitHub. Because the only problem here is when you press Ctrl Save, it will try to save a copy on your Google Drive. Now you can download from your Google Drive and upload it to your GitHub. For those ones who have used the collab, because but I think once I'm done setting up my dependencies on the VS Code, I'll come back and continue with the VS Code. I prefer using the VS Code. So guys, next time on Friday, we will continue with the same data set and then try to create some bit of, we'll look at first of all, the types of modules that we are going to use. We are going to look at the classifier, which will look at the k nearest neighbor. We'll also look at the confusion matrix. And then we will also try to look at the support vector classifier, the SVM, support vector method. And of course, we will also try to look at some bit of decision trees. And then we will also look at random forest. And of course, once we are done with all those machine learning classification, then we can try to prediction. Okay. So thank you for watching up to this level. I'm going to share with you the recording for this particular lecture so that you can follow, maybe be able to have your code ready to submit it to me onto your GitHub and I look at it. I know I've taken you up to 11:30, which I shouldn't have done it because I miss my Monday. So I've tried to compensate for all the periods. Any question here? And please, one thing I've realized is that with the data of 1.5 GB or 1 GB, you can use it to attend this lecture. If you're using Ubuntu, yeah, if you're using Windows, that means you're going to consume more data. But with actually data of 500 MBs, you can attend this lecture, or even 700, between 500. Once you're using Linux, you can attend to that. Let me stop sharing and stop recording so that you could also have stop recording.